Hey everyone, it's Ashley Bradley, the Intuitive Business Coach, and I'm making a video for you today about how to choose the right tarot or angel cards or oracle cards for yourself, because that's a question that I've been getting from people a lot. Typically it's people that it's like their first set of cards, that they have an interest not necessarily in reading or doing it professionally, but starting to integrate the cards into their own practices, doing readings for themselves or their friends and family. And so oftentimes I have people ask me what I recommend or how they would go about finding the right deck for them. So I'm going to give you a few different pointers and suggestions, and I will also tell you what I use for myself currently most often, I guess I'd say personally, and then also what I use most often in readings for other people. So first things first, before I tell you what I use, I do want to mention that it's not a one size fits all. Like, everyone's going to have their own preferences. So if you can shop and go to a place where you can actually interact with the cards and see the cards, and there's like bunches, of different cards, I would recommend doing that instead of doing it online, because it's going to be easier for you to be drawn to the deck that you are going to be the best fit for. I've found that different cards have resonated with me at different points in my life, on different points in my journey. So there's going to be a particular one that just really jumps out at you. And if you have a chance to actually look through the deck, look at different photos, and see if it's something that feels like, it's just really resonating, it's getting you excited, then I would do it that way. If you don't have any like stores around you, or you're not finding something that has a really good selection of different decks, I would say to check out Hay House. They tend to be the ones that are putting out the majority of the decks that I've come across, and they do run like 50% off sales several times a year. So whether you follow them on social media or get on their email list, you can find out when they're having their different sales, because that's usually the best time to, of course, buy decks, and you can get multiple ones at once. And then I'd say a different suggestion is, if you go into the App Store, if you search Hay House, the different app versions of their decks are going to pop up. And so that's the only drawback of getting them online, is you can't see the different photos or what the cards say. So if you go this route and check out the app first, you can actually get to, take the card deck on a test drive before you commit to buying it, because all of their decks, well, I should say like 90% of the Hay House decks that I've come across that are in the App Store, they give you 7 days for free. It's not going to automatically start charging you unless you opt in. So I definitely make sure of that. But you can actually see the different photos, read what the descriptions would say, which are going to match up with the booklet that comes with it. So those are a few suggestions in terms of how to choose where to find them. And then I typically would recommend going in the direction of, because you're going to find angel cards, tarot cards, or oracle cards. I have a few preferences myself that I'll tell you. Like with this deck, for example, do you see how there's some writing on it and there's a really intricate picture? That is really important for me, just in terms of the way that I read. I will take in some of the words, but since I'm more of an intuitive reader, meaning that I don't memorize the different things that the King of Air means and only say that description out loud when the card comes up, but I really tune into the photo, and every time the card gives me a different reading based on what jumps out on the photo. So for me, having really intricate, detailed photos is really important. Photos that have a lot of subtlety and nuance, because it's just going to give you more places to go, more information to go in terms of the readings. And then I think it is helpful. I like to have some words, because I think that, especially if you're newer to doing readings, I think that some words will start to help you dive in. It'll start to help you interpret the different images. So some words are definitely ideal. I tend to go in the direction of, I'd say, oracle or tarot most often for many of the readings that I do. Some of them are angel tarot, and they're going to combine it. The biggest thing that I'd say tends to be different is traditional tarot does have some different imagery and cards that some people shy away from. Like if it says the death card, for example, it's going to be symbolic, right? But sometimes for people that's scary, or it brings up different fears and they're not necessarily comfortable with that. So I'm just fixing this little piece right here, it's sticking out. So that's up to you if what you feel cool with. I'll say the main deck that I'm using right now is this deck. It's the Doreen Virtue Radley Valentine Angel Tarot card deck, and this is the one that I use most often for my live readings. I bought this several years ago, and I didn't use it very often, and for whatever reason, this has just been the deck that I've worked with the most. It has my energy on it the most, so I tend to get the best and most accurate readings with this. I do bring in, when I do readings for other people, I'll bring in different decks and different things, but this is the primary one that I'm using. People do have mixed opinions, I'll tell you this now, on Doreen Virtue, because, and honestly, I'm sure that you'll be able to find some online, but I don't know what she releases now, but I think that I've seen this one that's still in print and publication, because Doreen Virtue went from the super spiritual side over to becoming very Christian. And I mean, personally, everyone gets to be right in my eyes when it comes to religion and spirituality if it's coming from love. So I still really like her decks. Some people, with the things that have come out about Doreen Virtue, they do not want to use her decks anymore because they no longer like her. But I like her deck, and so I feel like I can enjoy her deck, and it doesn't necessarily matter what she's doing. So I will say a few other decks that I've really enjoyed and liked lately, just in case any of these jump out. This is the Spirit Animal Oracle deck. I really like using this as a place just to pull a single card for myself for the day. This one's really simple. Not a lot of imagery, so it's not a favorite for other people, but or for readings that I do for other people. But this one's a James Van Praagh, the Soul's Journey card. Ooh, this one's really cool. This is the Moon deck. It actually has this very fancy box. And if it didn't have the box and it just had a different case, it would look like that. But these cards are more based on divine feminine, really beautiful artwork. Ooh, I'm dropping these everywhere. But what I think is really cool about this deck, this is the last one I'll mention, is that it does give you, after the reading, it gives you like a ritual, like a thing that you can do and integrate into your life to actually take whatever it is and actually start applying it. So if you pull a card about gratitude, for instance, it's going to have a gratitude ritual. So that one, for example, would be like putting your gratitudes every morning into a jar for 28 days. So there's something like that pairs with each card. So I like that one also has this like deployable ritual that you can actually take from the reading and move forward. So that's what I've got for you. If you have any other questions that I didn't answer during this video, I do check the comments. So just leave me a comment and ask me a question, or feel free to write whatever your favorite deck is in the list below, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye, everybody.